and the angle that goes behind the ear. There's slightly more weight. What else was important in the maths that we covered today?
The cutting angles.
Why?
Because I think there's 4 main different cuts. So to have the right angles, you need to define each different cut.
For the cutting, they've got to understand the angles. If they don't, the cut won't work. They've got to understand how they're nipping the hair into the neck at the 45 degrees, what angles they're using to get rid of graduation to make sure that cut sits perfectly and is symmetrical so it looks good at the end of the day.
So for example, the short graduation, you use the 90-degree angle where you pull the hair out from the head, and then you cut at 45, so it sort of tapers in at the neck.
Long graduation is different to the others because you just pick it straight up from the head at 90 degrees, and then you can see there it being shorter here and then the length being at the back.
It's important, the mixing of colours. So if you use the wrong peroxide, or you put too much in, or the wrong ratio, then it won't work or might damage the client's hair more.
It depends what products you're using, so manufacturer's instructions.
What
So
would change?
Ratios could be different.
The ratios that we use for colouring have been decided by the manufacturers, and the chemicals that we're using are quite dangerous, so students need to understand that. They need to understand that the ratio that they're mixing to is important to achieve the result they want, to make sure the client's hair is in good condition, to make sure that the client gets the end result and has no damage, and also it could be dangerous if they're mixing up chemicals incorrectly. So it's really important that they understand that.
So for example, bleach could be a 1:2 mixing ratio. So you put 1 part bleach and 2 parts peroxide, and then for downstairs it might be a 1:1 ratio.
We tend to work, some salons work in millilitres because they measure in bottles when they're mixing colour. Some salons work in grams like we do because they use scales, but it's fine as long as the ratio's there. So the manufacturers will give a ratio of 1:1, 1:2. How many different product ranges do we have that would be a concern in?
Loads.
What else might you need to know about maths, thinking about you all moving on to the end of your level 2 and doing other things? Level 3, you might become salon owners in time. What else do you have to consider? What other maths might you need?
I'd have to be able to work out the percentages for people's commissions, people's wages, how to work out what's going to go where and what's going to pay what, and how much to have left over, and all
Stock control.
Like your books as well, like your invoices, things like that.
Or your overheads.
Yeah, how much it costs to run a business.
Yeah. And whether you've got enough money that's come in to be able to pay them all off and still have money left over. Because if you get to a point where there's more money going out than there is coming in, then you're not really running a business.
And then it goes further when you've got level 3 learners that are looking at doing more salon management, and they're ordering stock, that they understand a litre bottle of shampoo is different to a smaller bottle that you would retail, so that there's different aspects to it depending on whereabouts they are within their qualification.
you've got things to pay for, stock, wages, bills, rent, so you have to make the money, you have to make sure it runs smoothly so you can get enough clients in to pay all the bills.
At the end of the day, they're a business, and that's what they're there to do, to make profit, so it just makes more sense really. You can get twice as many people in, why wouldn't you?
And sometimes you see salons run by students that we taught that struggled with maths, and now they're using it in a practical context like they all talked about. They're paying wages, they're working commissions out, they're ordering stock, they're balancing their books, and they're running successful businesses. And half of that's down to maths, and some of that has been what we've delivered here to help them not necessarily bridge a learning gap, because a lot of them can do it, it's just bridge that barrier of it's maths and realise that it's not, it's just what you do every day.
I think they should also make it very clear that you do need to use maths when you leave school, because when I was at school I thought maths, never going to use maths again, so I didn't take it in, I just sort of went to the exam, sat the exam, went home, didn't really revise. I think teachers need to make it clear that whatever you do, you're going to have to use it.